Hi, welcome back to Life After Dawn. I'm Dawn Ennis. I call myself the DadMom. I call myself that because my sons and my daughter have always called me Dad. But I'm a woman, and because of the death of their mom, I've assumed the job of Mom. So, while not taking the place of Mom, I'm doing the job of Mom. I think I have a unique insight into both of these roles, because although I've lived most of my life pretending to be a guy, I've come into myself as a woman. I'm what's called transgender. And that's what the question that Steve posed is about. How do you explain transgender to a child? Let me read you his question. Hi Don, I'm a straight person with no personal experience with transgender, or at least openly transgender folks. I live in a typical metro city area where I've seen it all. Great acts of social justice and great selfish acts. I truly want to understand what transgender means for the larger picture of society, but especially for children, as I will soon explain to my 7-year-old what the world means. Well, what the word means. You're never going to be able to explain what the world means, Steve. My wife and I each teach our child to be inclusive, to be respectful, not tolerant, as some like to explain, so that they can see people for who they are inside. It's an uphill battle even here. Help me understand, from your perspective, a good way to break down the transgender or trans-curious concept while being able to answer the inevitable comeback questions from my smarty pants. Am I transgender? Will I be transgender? As a parent, we get concerned. Kids get fixated on concepts like talking about poop and butt cheeks. This is all kids his age talk about. I worry about how my kid and other kids may unnecessarily get fixated on their body parts and misunderstanding the transgender concept as a scientific solution to correct the way someone was born physically. Please correct me if the transgender community consists of more than those who feel this was something they were born into, as that was my general understanding. Thank you. Well, that's a lot. But I do have some experience in talking to children about being transgender because I have 3 children myself, 2 boys and a girl. I came out to them 3 years ago, 2013. It was just about this time too, end of July. We sat them down and we told them that I would no longer be living as I am. I'd be living as the woman I am. My son was 6. My oldest son was 14, and my middle child, my daughter, my Sparkle, she was 11. It was a really hard conversation. It was happening right here in this room too, the room I'm in now. It was our master bedroom. What I told them was that this is who I really am. That I had tried very hard to be the man that they saw, the man that they knew, but that I'd be lying to them if I didn't live the way I felt. How do I explain transgender to a 7-year-old or to my 6-year-old? I explained it the way that I would want it to be explained to me if I was that age. I said that being true to yourself, being who you really are, is always important, no matter how you are, who you are, boy or girl or anything else. And that I felt like I had been a girl, but I hadn't been able to express that feeling. I had to hide it, like a secret. And the secret was hurting me by hurting them by keeping it. And it was time for me to tell the secret, for me to live true to who I was. They had emotional reactions, obviously. I'd like to suggest that to your 7-year-old, you introduce transgender as someone who feels like they are not being their best self. Maybe avoid the words true, avoid the word authentic. It's just too large, too big a concept. But best is understood All kids know what best is, they know what worst is, they know what first and last are. I'd say that if someone is being their best person, they should be who they really are. Even if it's that they used to be a boy and they feel like a girl on the inside. They feel like their best person, the best they can ever be, is to be more like a girl. It does seem like a difficult conversation where you don't have someone real to put in their minds. Now, in my daughter's case, she had a friend who was transgender, a classmate. My kids had me. It may be a difficult concept for your 7-year-old to understand without knowing a person. Perhaps, if you think it's appropriate, you could show them this. I would like you to know, all you 7-year-olds out there, that I always felt like a girl, but I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know how to express it. And I used to look like a boy, but I didn't feel like a boy. And I didn't act like a boy. To your question about, is this something that we're all born with? I think it is something innate. It is something, but very many of us don't express it or understand it or have a word for it until we're at a certain age. To me, I was in my early 40s when I really started to notice something was different about me. Not just different like in I'm sensitive and I'm more interested in things that a woman would be interested in. But it's beyond stereotypes. It's more about who you are inside. The person you want to be outside. Best advice regarding the butt cheeks question and the penis questions, the vagina questions. It's not about what's between your legs. It's what's between your ears. Gender is what's between your ears. It's in your mind. It's not your sex organs. Sometimes a person with a vagina can feel like a boy. A person with a penis can feel like a girl. You alluded in your email to correcting, I don't want to call it a mistake. Sometimes I even use the word birth defect. It's just something that doesn't match. What's down there didn't match what's up here. And more importantly, a 7-year-old doesn't need to get into that kind of detail. They just need to know that what's inside isn't what people see on the outside. And being transgender is, like having to wear the wrong shoe on the wrong foot. Imagine putting your left shoe on your right foot and your right shoe on your left foot, having to walk around like that until somebody finally says, hey, you know, if you wore those shoes the other way, you'd feel much better. And you would. That's a good explanation to help a 7-year-old understand. My kids fully accept who I am. They use female pronouns. My little one says, she's my dad. And they still do call me dad, even though I'm doing the job of mom. And their mom accepted me too, which made things easier. There's so many transgender people who don't have any acceptance by anyone. Not their spouses, not their parents, not their children. They live a lonely, sad life. And no one should have to do that just because they're being who they are, their best person. I will tell you, I struggled for a long time, wishing I could be the person I was, and it hurt me, and it hurt my family, and I couldn't go on hurting myself or them. I couldn't go on pretending. And so I live my true life, my best life. I'm Don Ennis, I'm your dad mom, and I look forward to getting your questions right here, donennis@gmail.com. Until next week,